Sky Sports News. Darren, are you free? Can we just make sure that everybody's on mute? Thank you. Darren, go ahead, please.
Cheers, Danny. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
Congratulations, first of all, before I get going.
Thank you.
I think, Joe, if I could start off, first of all, probably the most obvious question. Just details on the squad. I understand you're coming in for Joe Denley. Can you just give us the details, please, and the thinking behind an obvious change, perhaps?
Yeah, it's never easy decision. It's never easy having to leave someone out of the team. With Joe, over a period of time, he's done a brilliant job for us. He's helped show our identity as a side and how we want to play moving forward, and he's been a big part of that. He's batted long periods of time and laid a platform for guys behind him in the order to go on and make big scores. But it's a very difficult decision we've had to make, and gone a different way. But I think he's done a good job over a period of time.
Joe, any other changes perhaps when the team comes to to actually play on at Old Trafford?
Yeah, we're not in a position at the moment to give a squad out, so maybe later on tonight we might be in that position, but unfortunately at the moment we're not.
Joe, maybe I could ask as well, just for you, what's it been like for you? We saw a beautiful picture of you at home wishing the team on the best with your new arrival, but what has it been like for you watching and now coming back into the fray?
Yeah, it was different. It certainly was different, and I suppose it was quite hard in some ways. You want to be there, you want to be involved, and having played 80-odd games on the bounce, it was quite difficult to sit there and watch every ball and know you can't really affect things. But these times and the situation we find ourselves in, you have to do the right thing, and away from the actual cricket side of things, it was really special to have that week and a bit at home with the family. First time round with Alf, had 2 days at home and then had to fly to India, and it was 5-6 weeks before I saw him again. So to get that time at home is something that I'll savour for the rest of my life and really appreciate.
If I can be cheeky and just get one more in, if possible, Joe, just on the task ahead with the West Indies, who are clearly growing in confidence. Jason Holder, is performing brilliantly as a player and as a captain as well. What do you need to do to square the series and get level with them and be in a position to possibly win back the Wisden Trophy? Because they're a very, very much improved, very, very strong side.
Yeah, simply score more runs and take 20 wickets. It will be as simple as that. That's what we've got to do. We know that they're a very well-oiled bowling attack in particular, and they've proven that in recent contests between the two teams that they're more than capable of beating us convincingly on occasion. So we know that they're a strong team and they're a difficult team to beat, but we also know what we're capable of as well. And one thing that we've always been very good at is when we've had difficult games and we've had a tough week, we've bounced back very quickly and very strong. We've learnt lessons throughout series, so I expect nothing different this time round. We've got a team and a squad that have a fantastic attitude, and they will be desperate to come back out and really put in a strong performance, and that's hopefully worthy of winning.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Darren. We'll go with Rory from the Press Association, please.
Hi, Joe. With the batsmen there, Joe and Zach, would you say it's a reflection of the fact that Joe's not been able to go on and get that 100 maybe and settle himself into the team, or having looked at last week's match, does it feel like actually the change has come because Zach's gone out there and sort of grabbed the shirt himself?
I think probably a bit of both. To be quite honest, I think you watch Zach's progression since he's been involved in the team, and the way his game can continue looks to get stronger. And as I said, Joe is someone that's done a fantastic job for us over a period of time, and I think he'll be just as frustrated as anyone that he's not managed to quite convert those opportunities. But certainly not a closed door for him. And he's been a big part of our squad for some time now. If he gets an opportunity to come back again, then I'm sure he'll be desperate to take it.
And is it a slightly difficult? I mean, obviously everything in this environment is slightly different and maybe slightly more difficult, but presumably Joe stays around the squad now. I suppose in the past, if you drop someone from the side or the squad, they might disappear off and go and have some time on their own to sort of come to terms with that. I assume Joe's going to be with you all in Manchester for the next week and helping out with drinks. I guess it's a slightly awkward managerial situation, that for you.
It is, but in many ways it's like being on tour. That can happen when you're away on tour, and of course it will feel strange and slightly different here when you're at home and a few hours away from your family and stuff. But everyone was fully aware of that when we went into this series, and I knew that there would be challenges like that to contend with. And it's part and parcel of the environment and the times that we find ourselves in currently. So being understanding of that as a group ahead of things was quite important, and I think everyone gets that.
And just in terms of not being able to offer a squad right at the moment, can you sort of let us know, is there any fitness issues in that equation?
There's a few things that need just clearing up slightly at this end. So until we're in a position, I don't really want to talk too much about it because I'll end up saying something that I shouldn't.
Okay, we're going to move on. Sam Ellar, please, next.
Hey, Joe. On Josh Buttler, he's obviously struggling for form at the moment in Test cricket. I mean, can you or Josh or anyone in the England setup sort of put your finger why on such a talented batsman in white ball cricket, he's scoring so many runs, seems to be struggling so badly in red ball cricket?
I think you look at Josh and you look at the game last week. And I know we're in a results business, and I know that we are judged on our performances. But you watch how he batted in that first innings. I thought it was it's technically as well as he's played for a long time. And I think his game's in a really good place. And it's a matter of time before we see some of those special innings that we've seen in white ball cricket and his performances in that arena transfer across. He's someone that's a big part of our group, has been for a long time. He's a great thinker about the game. Big senior player within the dressing room across the formats, and just feel he's not far away from really grabbing Test cricket and taking it and really running with it. So I've seen big strides with him off the field in terms of his technical game, and I suppose you almost want him to just find that balance and that mindset that he can have in white ball cricket and add it to what is definitely a technique and a game that can thrive in Test cricket.
And then just on Sibley and Burns at the top, they were of course back batting together at the top of the order in the first Test. Is there more evidence, Joe, that these two can sort of finally be the two guys at the top of the order now for a long period of time for England? Are you happy that they have all the ingredients to be that successful long-term partnership for England at the top?
They've certainly got all of the ingredients, absolutely. But as you know, you've got to keep performing, and that will be constantly the challenge for everyone in the squad moving forward. When you get your opportunity, you've got to go out there and you've got to score your runs and take wickets. They know that, but I thought that actually most of the guys at some point throughout the last game showed that they're generally in a good place. They just need to convert those scores, and having not played a lot of cricket for a while, it sort of showed. I don't want to be too much of an armchair critic, sat at home watching the game and not being there, but I'm sure having a game under the belts will definitely help going into this one, and for the rest of the summer as well. So, getting back into the rhythm of a Test match and going over 5-day period. I think you look at the rhythm of our innings second time round, and it was almost like we were in the game a little bit more. That's what it looked like on the telly anyway. So I expect that to go up another notch this week.
Thanks, Sam. John Etheridge, please.
Joe, hi. Did you literally watch every ball?
Not quite every ball. I had to go and hit some balls myself at certain parts, but I did end up watching a lot of it, yeah.
And how frustrating an experience is it? And is it worse actually, watching on TV from 250 miles away as your team end up losing?
It was challenging. I think more so because you're fully fit and you feel like you could be out there, and it's just a very strange set of circumstances that stops you from being. But at the same time, I think that Ben as captain did a brilliant job. He had some very difficult decisions to handle and to manage, and actually I think on the ground and throughout the game in particular, he managed things very well. But one thing I was really pleased of, actually, you look at the performance for the first 2.5 days, we were probably behind the game, and we managed to find a way of resting ourselves into a position where we could win the game. And I think in the past, sometimes we've sort of fell away a little bit early. Going into those last 2 sessions, we still had a real chance of winning the game. So I think that is, in a way, a small step forward for us. Of course, we couldn't quite get across the line, and look at the back end of our second innings. That really did hurt us, but I think there was a lot of positive things to take from it, and you could certainly see that, sat watching at home. But yeah, I was at times I would have loved to have been there.
Just Ben sort of upset, given the job back to you with the team 1-0 down in the series. I mean, that would have kind of annoyed him, I guess. But.
Well, I think one thing from Ben is it's not going to change his approach and the way he goes about things. He's very much a leader within the team anyway, as vice captain. And as a senior player, he's someone that will try and grab the big moments and really lead the way. And whether he's got the armband or not, that you can always count on him, and he's going to give absolutely everything for you. So I'm sure in many ways his approach won't change, and I'll still be taking advice from him for sure.
Thanks, cheers.
Well, George Devell, please.
Good day, Joe. Congratulations. Firstly, on your other bowlers who played at the Ageas, are they okay? Have they come through training and recovered? Yeah,
as I say, we'll announce the squad and give you more information at a later date. There's a few things we need to just shore up, and when we're in a position to give that out, we will.
Okay, and more generally, the continuity of selection thing has obviously been a great asset to English cricket in the last 10 years, I guess. But is there a balance? Because you're showing faith, or have shown faith, with a couple of players who haven't really performed that well for a year or so. Is that a difficult balance to get right? Is that something that you're continuing to look at?
Can you elaborate on that slightly, please, George?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Joe Denley, and obviously, he's now been let go. But Joss, in a previous era, wouldn't be in the team at this stage, averaging 20 odd in the last year. The continuity of selection thing has been really good in the last decade or so. But if it's blocking opportunities for other players, does a positive become a negative? And is that something that you've got to reflect on, look at now?
I think there's certainly challenges that present themselves in this COVID era, if you like. With the games coming around quite quickly, the managing bowlers in particular is going to be really important, and getting the balance right, with especially a few of them coming back from injury, and making sure we make the right calls at the right times. But we are blessed with a number of guys that haven't played and that weren't even necessarily in the squad that have averaged 20 over the last couple of years in English conditions. So if those changes need to be made, we can. And in terms of selection in other areas, we have tried to be consistent, because we know how difficult it can be when you're given limited opportunities, and you think, if I don't get a score in the first couple of games, I'm back out of the team. And you want to take that pressure away from players. You want them to feel like they've got an opportunity to go out and play properly and do a job for the team. And ultimately, the mindset from the guys shouldn't be about trying to get themselves in for the next game. It should be about doing what's best for the team and making sure that you play in the situation in front of you. And we're just trying to enable an environment where that can thrive.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Lizzie and Paul, one each, please.
Hey Joe, I understand it's been raining in Manchester. Shock. Have you had a chance to look at the pitch? What are you expecting from it?
Yeah, I did have a quick look at the pitch yesterday. It's been under covers for large part of yesterday evening and all of today. But it was a nice like brownish colour to it, if you like. It looked like a good wicket. So I'm expecting it to be just that, really. Hopefully, there's an opportunity for bats to go out there and make big scores and to really go on and convert some starts if we get in. And with that, hopefully, you want to see a bit of carry and bounce.
Thanks, Lizzie. Paul, please.
Oh, hi, Joe. Did you have any input into the big decisions before the match last week? For instance, would you have left Stuart out?
Yeah, I did have an input. I didn't think it was fair to leave it all on Ben as captain, and as a selector, you have your say. But ultimately, you want him to be happy with the team that he takes on the field. And it was a decision that wasn't taken lightly. It was something that was well discussed, and there's been a lot of talk about Stuart missing out on that game, and at no point does anyone think that any less of him, or the fact that he's not capable of doing special things in an English in the Test arena, especially in home conditions. But as I mentioned earlier, there are other guys within the squad as well that might feel hard done by, that also average around the 20 mark in the last couple of years. So that's the competition for places that we have in that department. We're very blessed with a number of guys that could come in and have proven that they can perform here in English conditions. And that's exciting. And one thing that you'll get from Stuart when he gets his opportunity again is he'll be desperate to prove a lot of people wrong and to go out there and put in a real strong performance. And that's how I suppose you get that strength in depth, is from guys like that, showing how it's done when it's their turn to do so.
Thanks.
Okay, we've got time for three more, just one each now. Stefan, Julian, and then we're going to finish with Arani from India, please.
Hi, Joe. I know you can't confirm a squad at the moment, but can you just say the sort of things that you're having to weigh up, not just in terms of naming a squad, but also for the 11 that will take the pitch tomorrow?
Yeah, well, we'll have to have another look at the wicket at some point. I've got a good idea of what it looks like, as I said. And there's a few things that we need to clear up in-house as well, just making sure that everyone pulls up as we would like. And, just being really clear on what we think's the best thing for the team throughout these 5 days and moving forward.
Thanks, Stefan. Julian, please.
Hello, Joe. These are obviously odd circumstances for everyone, but I think it's now 8 of the last 10 series where England have lost the first test. Are you any closer to putting your finger on why you have sort of difficulty getting off to a decent start?
Hi, Julian. No, to be honest, it's quite frustrating. It's something you don't really want to be behind. You want to be ahead and sort of setting the way in the series, putting a marker down early. But I suppose the pleasing thing is there's been a number of times when that's been the case and we've managed to still go out and win the series. So that's our challenge now. We've got to look forward. We've got to look at this week and beyond and make sure that we win this week and give ourselves the best chance of winning the series.
Thank you.
Finally, Arani from India, please.
Yeah, Joe, you talked about converting starts. How difficult is it to hit form straight away when the entire batting lineup had such a long layoff? And how difficult is it for you as a captain to have that patience with an entire batting lineup to get those big runs? And how difficult is it for a batsman to get into the big runs straight away?
Yeah, I mean, there was obvious challenges coming into last week, and having not played for a long time. But the mindset and the way you look at planning an innings and spanning long periods of time, that doesn't go away. You just want to get back out there and in the competition again. So it's something that I do think will be better for this week, having experienced the game and everyone sort of being in that match environment again. And it's very hard to replicate in the nets, but ultimately it was the same for both teams in many respects. And they probably managed it better than us on occasions last time round, and probably the crucial parts of last week they managed it better. So, you know, you've got to give the West Indies credit. They played very well. There was a couple of occasions where they really grabbed the game and took it away from us. But you know, our challenge this time is to stand up to those moments and make sure that we rest them in our favour.
So do you think you need to give a longer rope in these circumstances to your batsmen?
Sorry, can you just say that again, please?
Do you think you need to give them a longer rope to your batsmen in these circumstances?
Longer rope?
Rope.
I think more than anything, it's about trying to understand the situation of the game you find yourself in. And no, first innings, if you get yourself in there and you get through that difficult period, you've got to try and make it count and build that partnership and make it as big as possible and work with the guy at the other end. You know that, especially in the conditions we found ourselves in first innings, that it's always going to be tough to start your innings. So once you get in there, you've got to really try and make it count. And there were a few occasions that guys did get deliveries they couldn't have done much about. And you have to give credit to the opposition for that. But there are also areas that guys will be disappointed on and want to get right this time round.
Okay, everyone. Thank you. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Cheers. Thank you very much.